Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Coffee with Spects and Bryce. Yeah,
hey guys.
That was horrible.
Hi. How is the audience out there doing?
You literally just streamed. This is the energy you're bringing me?
No, what's up? It's actually no, that stream did take quite a bit out of me. It was a busy stream today.
Yeah, did you say you're gonna shove a controller long ways up your rectum?
Did I say that?
Yeah, did you say that? No,
you said that you were gonna shove it up.
Yeah, I did.
Yours is also I think today was one of the first times you and I like together have had two separate like nice full people showing up, people watching, just good streams.
Making fun of my ability to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, what is a spec stream if I'm not bullying you?
So I was playing Doom, and Doom's controls, if you haven't played Doom, are very sensitive. So I don't know if you could tell, but the game started off like I was moving way faster than I anticipated. So every movement I was doing, where I was like, oh, I only have to do it like this much and I can stop. And it was like, no, I'm going way too far. So I didn't really I didn't really hit my stride until like halfway through the second level. I'm like, okay, I got this now. I got it. I figured it out.
Yeah.
There's platforming in it and I hate it.
Platforming's the best.
It literally, the end of that level felt until like the last like horde battle felt like a Mario Maker level.
Oh man, there were some of the levels I cleared tonight, and I mean, like I cleared pretty much everything, but but one of the levels is from a viewer, and then the DGR level, because DGR levels are funny because DGR will tell you I'm not a very good level creator. And then he'll create a level that has like a 0.1% clear rate, and you're just like, what are you talking about? Maybe I guess the levels aren't fun or something, is what he's thinking. But his levels are fine.
Maybe that's what
I wouldn't say his levels are explicitly fun, but you know.
I don't know. I mean, I say I'm not good at shooters, and yet I play shooters all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not good at shooters, and there's a reason I don't play shooters on stream.
I'm not bad at them. I have a tendency to get way too cocky.
I would love to see what kind of people came around for a Warzone 2 stream, and have them be like, "Stop camping, dude! You're horrible at this game."
I don't think it's really like that anymore. I stream Warzone. I didn't really get any of that. But I was also really drunk when I streamed it, and I didn't really care. Like that clip that played
really
was
like
that
option for myself, I guess.
Where it was like, you can't hide behind a tree, loser. I was like 3 White Claws in, and I'm just streaming, minding my own business on a Friday night. Like I was murdering that game.
Oh yeah.
Good times when I used to stream on nights, not during the day.
I stream pretty much exclusively during the day.
I like streaming during the day.
I prefer streaming during the day. I usually can bring a little bit more energy, even if it's right after work.
Mr. 3-hour nap.
I did take a nice long nap today. It was good.
I was expecting you to start like at noon or something.
I never mentioned a specific time. All I said was I was going to stream earlier than normal, and that ended up being true.
You started at what, 3?
Almost 4. But usually I don't start till close to 5:30. It allowed me to. I streamed. Let's see, what was my
streams as long as you stream for like
my
4
stream
hours.
Summary. 3 hours 48 minutes. So, which is for me is a good stream. I mean, for anybody, I think that's a good chunk of the day. Like, it's not like a long stream by any means, but it's a solid stream.
Hey, Beast playing Pokemon again.
Yeah. Specs Pokemon content is life. It is love. It is life. No, and I'm like, I know it sounds like I'm hyperbolizing a little bit, but seriously, like, if there's anybody listening to this and they haven't watched the Specs Pokemon content either on Twitch or on YouTube, seriously, it's a lot of fun. especially the abominations that Infinite Fusion creates.
Oh, don't worry. Once we hit the Elite Four, we'll diffuse everything, and we're just gonna make the like go in with the best possible team possible.
Oh man!
So like, it's probably gonna be a full stream of just specs, just specking out mons, just so we can like, not that the Elite Four is difficult. It's just like with dual typing, like I just want to going in with like the best team and like coverage stuff wise, I think it's just huge. And that's been like apart from grinding until I put in rare candies finally, because grinding is cringe and cheating is based. So we don't I don't have to grind anymore. So having that ability makes it a lot easier. Or it's like I'm not having to like replay trainer battles and stuff, which is just makes my life so much easier.
Yeah. No, yeah. I like I said, I've been Pokemon streams have been like my favorite. I mean, I did enjoy your random Fallout stream, and then
I want to play more of that. I might kind of.
I do eventually want to get into that, but I kind of want to finish my Valheim stuff before I start infusing other games into my.
I think what I might do is do like Pokemon one day, Fallout one day, like Doom, like a shooter one day, and kind of just like have random days for content instead of it sort of being like amalgamish.
Yeah, I think after I finish Valheim though, this playthrough, I'm probably gonna switch over to Terraria. Only because when you and I were doing those joint Terraria streams, out before I did Mario, that was like the biggest.
I wonder how it'll do during the day. Not
Yeah,
like,
that's true. You and I were doing it during the day.
Oh, yeah. Saturdays are weird. I know. I said I wanted to do a summer of Uncharted, so I'm gonna have to start Uncharted soon.
Well, then you and I eventually need to buy what's the game that we were gonna play together? The one that's a sequel, Sons of the Forest.
Oh.
Yeah, because we need to get Survival Saturday going, I guess.
Oh, here we go.
Except I won't call it Survival Saturday.
That was like your thing. You're
anymore.
like you were hyping the shit out of that.
Look, I was trying to do the right thing as a streamer, trying to imitate, and I've only just now I think gotten into a point where I'm starting to feel a bit more comfortable when I stream, where I'm not coming in and trying to like put on a show, if that makes sense. I'm just kind of doing what I do.
I have to react to my old high school YouTube videos.
Yes, I heard when that one person followed you. I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna react to.
Yeah, Reaper's
Life. Are you gonna react to Sports Squared, or are you just gonna react to other videos?
Probably the other stuff.
What you gotta react to. What you gotta react to.
I'm gonna go through the whole catalog.
You've got to react to. Hold on. I'll put this over my thing on my window here.
Oh,
you've got to react to this beauty. Hold on, let me.
What? Oh no.
Hold on.
Is it what I think it is?
Let me add it to as a source. I've got a bunch of window captures.
What's wrong with that?
It wasn't a bad, like, I'm not saying it was a bad video. It was just
look
what?
At
little Specks. Look at little Specks.
Same hairline.
Beardless Specks.
Beardless Specks, huh? Okay.
Look at that.
Yeah, show one of you, Beardless Bryce. 12 years ago. It was 18.
Talk to your young self. Sorry. It was just funny.
You're gonna get fat, kid.
Oh my gosh. We could say that to both of our past selves, huh?
Wasn't that bad. The audio set because I was using a microphone from.
I think the thing we didn't
Rock
realize
Band.
back then is to like condense our content a bit.
That wasn't that long. That was like a 2-minute video.
No. I know, but it was one thing, and it was a lot of monotone, and it wasn't bad. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm saying for what it was, but it was just, you know. And weren't you using your what's it called, mic?
Rock Band mic.
Your Rock Band mic.
Yeah, I was using a Rock Band mic. The condenser.
Oh, I think it's good.
You know how good that mic honestly is. It's a condenser USB mic. If I had it on a stand, it probably would have sound okay.
Oh man, yeah.
It's not like technically it's better than my Yeti.
You know, 12 years ago, you put a video up on that channel called Angels Season in Question. I feel like that is literally all our podcast ever is when we discuss the Angels.
I got some thoughts this week. Don't you fret.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
yeah. Well, here we could show little me on this for a second.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me
little Brycey poo.
Let me pull up little Brycey poo. Look at that.
Same hairline.
Look at that face. Look at that face.
What mic were you using for this one, smart guy?
Probably the webcam mic.
Oh yeah, and you're making fun of my Rock Band mic.
Although to be honest, here. I guess I can't really stream the audio through Discord, so right? Yeah, there's no way I could put it in. So anywho, should I just leave this up for the rest of the stream? This is gonna be the alternate me.
You want to? It just looks stupid.
This should be your in the thumbnail for this video.
Just those pictures.
Include the pictures of us from back in the day.
Oh god.
Be like teenage Bryce and Specks come for a visit.
Yeah, well, I have to react to all the old skits. One channel I was more involved in than the other.
You got to be careful not to dox yourself.
I don't have to show the credits.
That's what I'm saying. You got to be careful not to dox yourself.
Yeah, I'm not going to show the credits.
Or if they call you by your first name, Specks.
I'll skim through it.
Do you know how often, even when we're doing this podcast, I have to honestly
probably
watch myself? Yeah. It doesn't help that when you and I play Valheim together, I retrain my brain.
I noticed.
Call you by your first name.
It's so funny.
And so then when we go to do content or anything together and I have to start calling you Specks again, it's like I'm retraining my brain over again.
Yeah, I know. It's got to be.
It's easier when I see you in person because it's like I see you in person. It's like, okay, but this is just me and Specks, but not Specks.
Like how I got told I have to keep this hat in decent shape today.
Oh, is that because it's a soccer hat?
I think because they don't really resell that well. I guess technically it's like a 101, 1 of 2.
I still need to. Maybe I'll get a hat. Oh wait, no, you don't have a hat on your merch store.
I do.
Oh wait, yes you do.
I do.
Maybe I'll buy a hat and I'll start just like.
I have a hat. I have a hat. I have hoodies. I got t-shirts. I have mugs.
Do you know what I have in terms of merch?
Nothing.
Diddly squat.
No one buys it.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, everyone who's bought.
If I get closer to like 1,000 followers and things, and people actually coming onto the Discord,
I
may eventually, but
everyone who's bought a hoodie has loved them.
A hoodie is what I've thought about buying. Although right now would be a horrible time to buy a hoodie.
Hoodie is incredibly comfortable. But there's a hat, there's a mug, there's stickers.
Maybe I should get a mug, and that's how I'll hydrate.
Dog, there you go.
I'll just every time I hydrate, every time somebody redeems hydrate, I'll just like hold up the mug, Specs Gaming TV, and just be like,
Yeah, well, yeah. I loved how I blew everyone's mind when it came to the hat, and I'm like, yeah, the cost isn't that high. It's really not. Like, these were, like I said, these were sample hats. This is just like, this is an embroidered.
aren't you supposed to create merch for soccer?
No.
I thought once upon a time that was something that you were supposed to do.
Mm-mm.
Weren't you supposed to create? You were supposed to create merch for someone. I
Was
feel
I?
like you're supposed to design something or another for someone.
Nope.
You sure? Oh no. You said you were designing a logo for soccer at one point.
Yeah, because I got.
You wanted something like
no, because
you wanted something like the Nike swoosh.
Oh yeah, I still don't know what she wanted. Because I'm like, you can't. That doesn't make sense.
You can't just create those out of whole.
No, because her words to me were like, "You're overthinking it. I want simple like the Nike swoosh," and I'm like, "What?"
You kept mine pretty simple.
Like everything I sent her was like, "No, it's too much," and I'm like, "I don't know what you want."
You kept mine pretty simple. That logo is pretty much. Oops. See, that logo is pretty simple.
Yeah.
As is the banner.
Yep.
They're both pretty simplified.
Not too difficult.
Anywho. I've broken the illusion. You guys now know that I'm not sitting in the middle of a studio.
That you're not.
I mean, I don't think that illusion was ever really all that much there.
Nope.
What I need is like a video. What I need is like a video of this studio and having somebody walk through it. And then that would really trick some people out. Just make the clip like 30 minutes long and just have the one
random person
walks through. So that way you just never really like get the sense that it's fake. It's just one person occasionally walking by.
I was gonna say something. I lost my train of thought. Oh, did you get another car racing level today?
No.
Oh. Did you enjoy my my speed levels on Monday?
Oh yes, I did. You're asking me to think back to the beginning of the week, and that's
Avengers. What was it? Avengers training, and then don't get beat by the Thwomp.
Yeah. No, those were good levels. I mean, they weren't yours, but they were good levels.
I can't make a level that complicated.
Oh, I'm sure you could come up with something.
Because I'd have to beat it. That's the problem.
What I want you to do is when I come at the end of July to California, I want you to make a level that's as complex as you want it to be, and I will clear it for you, and then I will clear it, and then I will play it for stream.
Okay.
Not during the same vacation, mind you.
Yeah, because you're not streaming that week.
No. I will announce to everybody that week or the week prior that I will be off for next week or whatever.
No podcast that week either.
I know. Maybe what we'll do is we'll do a dual recording like the week before, so we can we'll discuss some lighthearted.
You saying this isn't lighthearted?
Well, we're gonna eventually get to the Angels talk, and that is definitely not lighthearted. Maybe we'll do like a list or something, like Spects' top 10,
top 10s,
top 10 Angels players or something, and why and stuff.
It's at the end of you said the end of July?
Yeah.
This trade deadline time.
Maybe we'll do like a Specs projections.
Oh god.
Specs projects what's gonna happen in the trade deadline or something. I don't know. I mean, you'd be doing it weeks in advance.
I would be doing it like a couple weeks in advance.
No,
God,
we'll figure
July
out.
is gonna be so busy for me writing wise.
Yeah. So we'll either be off or we'll have something very generic for people to listen to.
Yeah. You like my abominations, huh?
Your abominations? Your Pokemon abominations?
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think B what was it?
Beat him?
B
He's
no,
probably
no, no,
gonna
no.
go.
Your Beeler.
Beeler? What about him?
I still think it should be B bro because Steve and Lift.
Even lift, bro. He's probably not gonna survive. He's probably gonna get cut.
But why?
Because he sucks.
He's fighting and poison?
No, he's rock bug.
Rock bug?
Yeah.
No, amazing.
That's really not that great.
No, I know. And I'm not really all that attached to it. It's just the idea of nicknaming it. I mean, you just gotta nickname it before you drop it.
I know I think once what I'll do is I'll name him after subs or something. But I do want to do a Nuzlocke.
You named your rival Sabbath instead of Bryce. I mean,
Oh, that's true. I did.
what do I
Wait.
have to do to get any respect around here?
I don't have either of these.
Ooh.
Wait, what?
Anyways.
Wait, so. Oh, wait, no. It might be. Wait, is it rock poison?
What was I saying it was before? Fighting poison?
Yeah. So there's a rock poison type and then a bug rock type. I think I have the bug rock. Bug rock variant. You just like the Togekiss fusion.
I do. I like what was it? Togezard?
Yeah, Togezard.
Togezard is awesome looking.
With the yeah, he's a good type man.
So but yeah. I'm getting returning viewers and every. Do you know what? Oh
Nope.
my gosh.
What?
I had a really good stream today, and do you know what?
What?
I didn't post my stream in your Discord or in DGR's Discord.
Mm. Look at you.
I forgot. I just forgot. I just streamed, average 6 viewers, didn't even post my stream. That, do you know what? That's actually kind of liberating in a way. Sorry, it's just interesting because it's like it's one of my first streams where I'm not having to do like a ton of promotion in order to get people to come by.
I don't do any kind of promotion.
Well, do you know what? I had to take a bit. Why do you think I grew the way I did?
No, I'm sure that had a lot to do with it.
Between your advice and me promoting myself, I was able to push me past a certain threshold, I think.
Hey, it never works for you.
And I'm within 100 followers of you. And I think I'm literally 99 followers away.
I'm at 127
You mean 227?
or 227. Yeah, sorry.
I'm at 128. So yeah, I'm literally 99 followers.
You'll
away.
probably pass me because like your Mario streams.
I mean, the Mario community just seems to have like a certain like, you know, as long as you are watchable, and I pride myself on being very watchable. That doesn't sound very full of myself, I don't think so. Sounds in fact like I'm kind of degrading myself. I'm watchable, I guess.
I'm what you would say is watchable.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, no, I think and that's the interesting thing is it's starting to come in a bit on my own as a streamer and a YouTuber. It's I'm not by any means, I'm not ever thinking I'll ever get big by any means, but I found a niche.
Anywho,
what should we talk about first? Angels,
second,
Nuggets,
doesn't matter.
whatever else. I don't know. Is there anything else going on in sports that we want to talk about before we get into the NBA finals and then into Angels talk?
No, I don't think so.
I was like, Tom Brady was rumored for a second to be wanting to start for the Raiders right after he bought ownership stake in them.
Yeah, I heard that rumor. All right, I heard and saw it. I'm like, I don't think that's happening, but okay.
Yeah. But no, yeah, there's not a whole lot of news going on right now. I mean, there's some stuff going on. I mean, there hasn't really been any movement on the Pac-12 stuff, but there's still
shocking
tons of discussion on it. But but we already talked through that, I think, last week or the week before.
Yeah, so we talked that I think we've talked that kind of like at nauseum because it's
just, so we need to get to this point where Colorado actually makes their move.
Yeah, it's one of those things where at this point it's just it's more like are we to a point where it's like something's gonna give and like the it's the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure when that'll be. Because it's like now Colorado's looking to leave. And all that.
They'd be smart too.
Yeah, like I said,
like you said, we talked it ad nauseum. So I mean,
like I said, I'll give it this much, and I think this is going to be true. I wouldn't be absolutely shocked if, Utah is like the last one standing. They're kind of just they're like there, and it's like, oh, we rule a conference that means nothing. And I think that is I think that'll happen.
My guess is if Colorado leaves, Utah jumps to the Big 12 almost right away.
I don't know. Like I said, it wouldn't shock me if they were
fans might talk this big talk of like, oh my gosh, Oregon and Washington are way better than anything you guys have in the Big 12. And it's like, yeah, maybe in football.
Well, I was talking to J-Rod about this yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, where he's, because OU's going to the SEC and he's talking about the Big Ten. And he's like, well, where's that lead the Pac-12? And I'm like, Oregon, or I'm like Utah, and that's about it. He's like, oh, do you think you buying Colorado? I'm like, I think Colorado's trying to leave, and I think they want to drum up enough attention to where they can leave and go where they want to go. But like I said, at this point, if you're a Utah fan, I'm terrified because, like I said, I think Utah is going to be the last one standing in the dead conference at this point because Utah is getting too big for their britches.
Sure.
I also think, but I mean, on top of that too, I wonder if this football season is going to be a very rude awakening for them because they don't have the one thing that kind of got them. I didn't watch a lot of Utah football, but the little I saw, I wonder, and I'm only thinking
you're thinking about Kincaid, and
I wonder if Kincaid, because there was no other tight end like that in the Pac-12 that he was like so unique and a unique weapon that without him, like having a Frankenstein monster, how much down to earth does that bring everyone? Where it's like you can't just lob it up to him because I don't.
Sure, although they do have a another guy. His name is Brant Keithy.
He's not on that level.
Brant Keithy was their starting, one of their main starting tight end weapons, and when he went down with an injury, that's when Kincaid got to take over.
We'll see. Like I said, I have a funny feeling Utah's gonna get a very rude awakening.
Here, I'll send you a I'll send you.
Because USC got better on the defensive side.
But
we'll see. I don't know. I don't necessarily know one way or the other. I'm just sort of like assuming based on what I've seen.
I'm just pulling up the old highlights from the last BYU Utah game, but Keithy he's really good. I do agree. He may not be Kincaid, but
say Brant Keithy.
Brant Keithy. Trying to find the touchdown.
Brant Keithy. Let's see. Let's see what his numbers are. Three-time Pac-10. So played in 4 games for a season, 17 receptions, 204 yards, 3 touchdowns. 4 games, second most receiving touchdowns among Power 5 tight ends, 3, 6-month FPS tight ends. Stephen Yards 204, scored a touchdown in the first 3 games at Florida, Southern Utah, and San Diego State. Over the season, career high 9 receptions for 105 yards and a touchdown, 37 yards, 3 receptions, 22.
Hold on, I found the video. I can share it with you now.
I don't think he's definitely a downgrade. I think Utah, it's going to sound weird coming from a USC guy, but it kind of seems like they're sort of trying, like, at least when it comes to like his highlights, like in his like just reading like what he's done, he's not anything special.
Trust me, you always ask me about the eye test, right? Here's your video of his touchdown.
I can't watch it now.
Oh, right, because you only have one monitor.
No, I don't have one monitor because I have to capture your window. So if I click something in Discord, I can't because it'll switch your window to that.
It will?
Yeah.
Well. Why don't you just next time for me, just do a display capture. Watch it on your phone.
I'm doing. You are display capturing.
Then why isn't it just the part of your display that are you sure it's display capture and not window capture?
Well, it's Windows capture. Whatever, it's Windows capture, but it's just
window capture. Yeah, I think will follow you. I'm saying if you do display capture, then wherever I'm sitting on your current screen is where I'll always be sitting.
That's what I also haven't had to really worry about it until like this precise instance.
I mean, there's been some videos and wanted to grab stuff.
He's small,
but he's good. He's good. Trust me. The eye test he's really good. Don't doubt on Keith.
Okay,
do we need to get Scott in here?
No offense, but he's also playing BYU.
BYU had a pretty good team that year.
I mean, like my point being of like when that weapon isn't there is Kincaid lifted the thing, and it's like it seems like he'll make plays, but it's like is he going to be able to do like what Kincaid did? No. I don't think Utah's necessarily going to do that well with a USC offense that has a full year of active recruiting from Lincoln Riley, full transfer portal from Lincoln Riley. That's
why
that Utah
that's why you wanted to come down hard on Utah.
I'm not coming down hard on Utah. I'm stating a fact.
Yeah, no, but you're building this up like about how
wasn't
Utah's
building
going to be
it
so
up.
much worse. No,
I said it's going to be a rude awakening because Kincaid's gone and a full year of Lincoln Riley. That's not me coming down on him.
You wanted to make a point that Utah's going to be worse and that USC is going to destroy them.
I'm not saying USC is going to destroy them.
The reason
I'm saying
you
they're
don't
going to have a rude awakening.
To be good is because it means
you're totally misunderstanding. You're taking what I'm saying and trying to be like, you're trying to say USC is going to dethrone them. I'm not saying they're going to dethrone them. I'm saying what's a full year of
they barely got on that throne in the first place.
A full year of Lincoln Riley of active recruiting and active transfer portal versus what he had last year. That's all I'm saying. That's the only thing I'm saying. Anything else you're trying to throw in there is you throwing in there. That's all I'm saying.
Love me, love
that's
me.
All I'm saying.
That you love me.
That's all.
Fool me. Go on, fool me.
That's all I'm saying. Anything you're saying is you making your opinions and not what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not pointing any fingers. No, I'm just saying
you're making a point about like how big or small is Utah, and then you immediately followed. No, you immediately followed it with yeah. So I don't know. USC's gotten really good recruiting. What does that have to do with whether Utah's still going to be able to do much or not? Like
that matters. What are you getting at?
What USC is able to do does not matter to what Utah's able to do.
I'm not saying
other than that they might lose a couple games this year.
I'm not saying like that. My point. See, okay. Want me to say something nice? Here's what I'll give you this when it comes to what's nice about Utah. And I said it when Scott was here. Utah's great at finding 3-star recruits that they turn into 5-star recruits. They find diamonds in the rough like Kincaid, which isn't really something you can magnify. Are you happy? I don't know. I love how you enjoy taking what I say and twisting it to make it seem like I'm saying something different, and I'm not. I'm not.
Okay. Sorry if I misunderstood you then. But it just the point A to point B seemed way too like
the point A to point B wasn't anything other than just a fact.
No, but you started out by saying Utah, blah blah blah.
What was my thesis statement? Blah. What was my thesis statement? Utah's in for a rude awakening. Point 1, yes. Kincaid's gone. Point 2, full year of recruiting from Lincoln Riley. Point 3,
what is that? What does USC have to do with Utah? Other than I'm talking about the division.
I'm talking about the division at large.
But the point is that you turned the whole thing into a point of but you turned the whole thing into a point of Utah versus USC.
Because that's a direct rival to them. It's that what do you want me to say? Like is that not a big point? That USC is going to be better than they were last year. That Oregon will be better than they were last year. More than likely. Washington's making strides. Colorado seems to be doing better. I can go down the list. It just so happened I picked USC because I know what USC is doing. I'm not taking it from.
It so happens that
oh my god! Because I know what Utah's doing. I can't state what any other school is doing. I can say it with the direct competition to them in the Pac-12 for a title is USC. So yeah, I'm going to go where I know. You can say you went there first. Yeah, okay, I went there first because I know what they're doing.
Hold on. What I'm saying is
stop gaslighting me.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Do you know what gaslighting is?
You literally are like you're saying they're better. I didn't say they're better. I'm stating what I know. I'm not talking out my ass saying, oh, Washington's going to dethrone them and so is Colorado. Like, no, I'm saying what I know. And you could be like, well, that's a weird point to make. No, it's a point I understand.
You went straight to gaslighting.
Because you were.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Okay, if there's anybody watching this, was I gaslighting,
yes.
or was I making a fair point?
There was no point. You were literally like, well, you're saying USC must be better. Here we go. Hold on. Let me move the definition of gaslighting here. I'm going to mute you. Hold on. We're going Tony reality. Bryce getting muted here. Hold on. Yeah, we're just going to mute you for a second here. We're going to Tony reality this for a couple minutes so I can get my point across without an interruption. You're actually muted. Get out of here. Gaslighting, a form of psychological abuse in which a person or group causes someone to question their own sanity, memories, or perception of reality. People who experience gaslighting may feel confused, anxious, or as they might cannot trust themselves. He walked away. This is the greatest 5 minutes ever. Walk away was perfect.
Look, I went full like Nick Wright on you, or I can't think of who does that normally, but
Stephen A did it, but it was perfect. It was comically perfect. Nick Wright has
done something similar. It had to be done.
That was comically perfect.
Okay, and quick break, I guess, for a second. For those of you at home who don't understand, Specks and I like to needle each other. It's kind of what we do. So, anyways, but my point still stands.
Your point's wrong.
No, you cut me off.
I muted you.
Yeah, you eventually did get to meeting me. I'm saying you kept cutting me off.
You need to do that more often. Just turn this into.
No, but you
turn this to around the horn.
What I was saying was you from the beginning could have said there are tons of things going on in the Pac-12, tons of opportunities for other teams to take over.
Well, I didn't think of that.
You said it. You eventually came to that point, but rather than going to that point right away, you went to USC.
Because I know what USC. I stand by my point. I know what USC is doing for a fact. That's really it. That was my entire thing. I see their. Weak. Well, I see their. I see their news easier. What do you mean it's weak? It's not weak. It's a fact.
No. Tell me what you named as general other things that also might help in the dethroning of Utah this year.
What else?
What were the other things you mentioned? No, what were the other things you mentioned, even just in general? Because
what do you mean by in general? I don't know. Wait, what do you like?
The things you already mentioned generally.
Them losing a star.
Colorado's on the rise. Washington's looking to be really good this year. Washington's right behind Utah in most people's rankings.
Oregon should be better.
Oregon is probably going to be better. Yeah, you said those things.
It's just because I let up with the USC. You know those
things in your head. You know them. You know they're going on. Yeah,
but my point. I'm aware of them. No, I'm aware.
When first was USC.
But I know about them like on a bigger level. What I'm saying is I can go if I have to like go somewhere. I'm going to USC because I know USC. Like I know more specifics about USC.
I'm not going to challenge your point about whether USC is going to be potentially better than Utah or not. You probably have a good point there.
I just don't like that. That's really it. But I don't know. But the whole thing,
I would say USC is a playoff team.
But the whole thing is I don't know what because it kind of depends. See, that's the weird thing is like scheduling is like if USC has to, or if Oregon or if Utah has to play all those teams and USC doesn't, like that's different, which I think might be the case again. I don't know. But like I said, I think it might be a rough year for Utah, not because USC is better, but because the competition around them as a whole is going to get better.
Hold on, my mic stand is kind of.
Oh, did it pop off?
Breaking on me. Yeah.
I shoved the thing back into the hole.
There we go. That should be better. It's because I've been moving this thing around so much to make sure it's like right at my mouth level.
All right,
that's what she said.
Do you want to talk Angels or Game 1?
Let's talk fire. let's talk Angels first, so we can end on a happy note. I guess I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna
We
start with.
We can end on
I
a
want to
sack
start.
of a sack of potatoes, or what is it? A loaf of bread? No, a loaf of bread is what you call.
Can I start?
Jokic.
Like, I want to kill this narrative, and I don't know where it's coming from, but I find it amusing. I think Angel fans are just trying to figure out ways to cope and talk themselves into a weird illusion that they don't need certain things, and that when things go wrong, it's easier to blame stars than the collective whole. And I find that hilarious and disconcerting at the same time.
Yeah, I get you.
And if you caught, I deleted it because I thought everyone's like, this is stupid, picking a fight with some idiot who clearly is trying to just rebel rouse. But
like
then,
me.
Yeah, I guess to a certain degree. But this narrative that like Trout and Ohtani can't hit with runners in scoring position is a false flag narrative, and I think it's hilarious that people love to run with it. Because if you look into if you break down the numbers, if the only thing you see is Trout's 200 average with running to the scoring position, you fully fail to understand the entirety of the stat and are choosing to generalize to prove a point that doesn't need to be made.
I will say this: Trout and Ohtani haven't been at the level you want them to be this year.
What's that level, though?
Trout, I'd still be expecting him to hit close to a 300 average.
Okay, so, what do you think? Okay, you don't. Okay, you're looking it up. Stop, because I want to prove. Stop, because I want to prove. Because I want to prove. I want to.
I feel like I should have known.
Because I want to kill this narrative. No, I really do want to kill this narrative because this is the stupidest. This is the most asinine stuff I've ever heard. This is the stuff that just drives me nuts. Okay, what do you think his average is? So just breaking it down, him with nobody on and no outs is he's hitting 282. With runners, okay, the number that everyone loves to pick on, and I say you're missing the point, is he loves to talk. They love to bring up his average with runners in scoring position, nobody in runners in scoring position. He's hitting 200th with an on base of 327 and on base slugging percentage of 400 and an on base plus slugging of 727. Now, the part that's interesting that I think warrants more of the conversation than that is him in the clutch situations with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. He's hitting almost 300 at 292, on base of 414, and he's slugging 417 and on base plus slugging of 830. I can tell you the difference between the two. He's getting they're not throwing him sliders with 2 outs. They're going after him with fastballs, and he's exploding on fastballs.
That's where I think my issue with Trout is.
That's the problem.
He's missing on easy pitches.
No, he's not. He's not missing on easy pitches. He's getting the way they're swinging, because you saw this in the World Baseball Classic, is he's selling out on the fastball and letting sliders go. And because the pitch of the year so far has been is like a sweeping curveball or a slider, he's not hitting that. He's never is through his entire career. He hasn't really been one of these guys where he's going to go after those pitches. And if they know that, they'll throw it with runners in scoring position and not a lot, and with less than 2 outs, because they're less inclined to, they don't have to be as aggressive, so they can kind of like throw what they're more comfortable with. But whereas when there's 2 outs and somebody on, like base loaded or something, they have to challenge him because they don't want to put him on and have Ohtani on. But when it's just like if Ward hits leadoff double, you don't necessarily care about if that run scores or not, because it's the first inning. So you can kind of go after him with like a lot more of the breaking stuff in sequence. Whereas if that situation's later on in the game, run to scoring position in 2 outs, you're really not going to do that. But I mean, there's way more numbers to dive into, like in terms of count, his average, like the lowest average in counts is 2 and 2 counts. He's hitting 200, and 1 and 2 where he's hitting 231. Every other count you're seeing 375, 300. I guess 250 is kind of low for a 1 ball no strike count, but everything else he's right where he needs to be. Like 3 and 2 counts is low at 172, but that's kind of to be expected. But he's not doing terrible. It's just whatever, because people want to make a narrative out of he can't hit, he's lost something, and it's more like, when you look at his numbers, he's still hitting 274. He's still slugging almost 900 with 13 home runs. It's like, it's one of those bits where it's like, are the numbers lying to you, or because you're watching every day and looking at the micro and not the macro, that you're buying into this falsehood because it suits what you're trying to sell.
Sure. And I don't agree with the people that are selling that. I will say he hasn't played up to what I would expect of him. He's not, as far as I'm aware, he's not amongst the league leaders in home runs. He's not amongst the league leaders in average. He's not amongst.
He's up there in home runs.
Home run league.
Oh, maybe not. Well, hold on. He's at what, 13? Yeah, he's 10th. He's tied with 10th. He's tied with Mookie Betts for 13. He's hitting better than Mookie Betts, too. Now, Tani's sick. Tied for, well, now he's 6th in home runs. Like, they're right there. They're hitting. They're not. It's just like.
I do still wonder with Trout, though. There does seem to be an interesting. Why isn't he hitting fastballs very well?
He's hitting fastballs well. He's not hitting sliders.
Well, I mean, like on a like often on those counts you mentioned where he's not hitting very well, a lot of the time they're throwing him a fastball.
I have to look
the middle.
I have to look at just like where they're going, because I've heard before he kind of like ignores the top part of the zone and will go after the more low stuff. So I don't know if they're sort of exploiting that a little bit more, and he hasn't really factored his like way out of it. It might be that I don't know.
I also still feel like he's, I mean, just based on, this is an eye test thing completely for me, but like I'm not one of those breaking down the numbers types.
I am, but I get paid to do it.
But no, you should be. And if I was had more time invested into it, I could be. But I feel like sometimes and again, I mentioned this I think last week or the week before, but I feel like there is this extent of Trout that we kind of talked about. We talked about him kind of like launching. He's not shortening up his swing on certain counts. It feels like even if he's behind in the count, he's still swinging for the fences.
Whereas I think that's just his swing.
Whereas Trout in 2014 would have shortened up his swing and tried to put a ball in play.
He's also older. He can't exactly do what he could do then. Which, sure. I mean, take it or leave it. So
I'd still like him on first better than I would like him on, out in the dugout.
So switching to Ohtani, which is probably the more fascinating thing, and the people who argue this and love spilling this narrative and bring up stats that are stupid. His average runner scoring position is 327 with an on-base plus slugging of 951. Now you tell me if the man can't hit with runners scoring position.
He can.
Or are you looking at a small sample size and choosing what to pick? And when I called you out on it, you had no reply because I not only showed you the numbers, I left you the links. And
by the way, for everybody watching at home, he's not talking to me. He's talking to Twitter.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny, where it's like you're cherry picking stats, do better. And living on this narrative that, it has to be Trout and Ohtani. No, it doesn't have to be Trout and Ohtani. That's why you went out and got who you got. So that's why you got Renfroe, why you got Drury, why you got Urshela, why you got Rendon. So that it doesn't have to be them. That if they come down to earth and have a human versus hat for a human season, you can still do it. Now, does the offense have issues? Yeah, the offense has issues, but the offense has issues not because of some like elaborate thing. It's just the smaller details that it's self damage. It's starting pitching's very middle of the road. The bullpen is better than we thought, but because of how Nevin handles starters, it puts the bullpen in a weird spot, and you can't when you're talking about lengthening the starters, then pulling them in the fourth inning. You're getting 6 innings out of your bullpen, and your starting rotation is 6th in the league in walks with 200 and everything else, and you're not talking about those things, and you're cherry picking one thing. Yeah, it's gonna sound way worse than it actually is when it's like, no, in reality, they're not bad. It's just when you're put in constant situations of expectations and expecting everything else, yeah, everything's gonna look bad. And also, too, you gotta remember, Angel fans as a whole and Angels Twitter collectively don't like Phil Nevin, don't like Marcus Thames, don't like Matt Weiss. Yeah, I've been very vocal on my hatred for Phil Nevin, that Phil Nevin should have been fired long before this, and he brings nothing to the team. He brings his lack of energy and his lack of drive, I think, is part of the reason why this team's playing the way it is nightly, where it's like this lethargic play, is him. But that's something that needs to be said. Like, saying Marcus Thames is the problem really isn't an issue when you're breaking down numbers and you're looking at numbers as a whole and saying, okay, they're doing something right in some areas and something wrong and not right in other areas. There's just a lot. And the fact is, this team is probably going to be the third wild card team because just sort of how it's going. They're going to be fighting for that spot. So everyone's saying trade Ohtani. They're not going to trade Ohtani. They're probably going to add and then make a jump. If I had to guess, because I don't think this team's going to have some sort of collapse. But I do think if they want to contend, Phil Nevin has to go.
So that was going to be my question for you. Do you think it's too late to fire Phil Nevin?
No.
Do you think that the Angels... Here's my concern is pulling in a new manager in the middle of a season risks disrupting the team almost as much as keeping the same guy, even if the guy is not very good.
Yeah, but do you look at
who do you hire?
You have guys there. Like
who's out on the market? Who is out on the market that you like? Who's out on the market that you think could come in and bring that energy?
That I think
Benji's not coming back.
Benji Gill. I think Benji Gill's the best candidate to take over.
He won't promote from within one more time.
Yeah, but the difference is, you saw what in a small sample size. You saw what Benji Gill can do. What Benji Gill did with Team Mexico, no one saw coming. What he was doing with Sandoval, no one saw coming. Because that Sandoval who pitched in the World Baseball Classic is not the Sandoval you're seeing now. I don't know what it was, but he had that team bought in, and they almost upset the champions that was Team Japan. That's something that I think people forget. Like, if I'm Artie and I'm Perry, that's the guy I'm targeting. If you had to let go of Phil Nevin, yeah, the interim's probably going to be Ray Montgomery, but you have to go in being like, hey, Benji Gill might be a fit. And on top of that, Benji Gill played on that World Series team. He's been a coach. He knows his team. I honestly think the guys buy into what Benji Gill says. Like I said, Sandoval's not the same pitcher he was in the WBC that he is now. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what Benji Gill was doing, but that team overproduced and almost knocked off the eventual champion before it ran out of gas. Like, they played the U.S. tough. Like I said, Benji Gill's the guy right now. I'm like, I want him to take over that team. I mean, he probably won't because Terry will want his own guy. But like, if we're looking at it, that's the guy you want.
Okay. I'd be interested to see how well that would work. I do agree. I think Nevin's a problem.
Yeah. I made this comment last night to you, and you're like, "Oh, Phil Nevin got tossed," and I'm like, "Yeah, and it did nothing."
I'm not. No. What my point wasn't.
No, I know. I know what your point was.
Wasn't. Wow, look how good Phil Nevin is.
It was more or less like
this
I
is
made
one time where Phil Nevin came in and argued, and I wasn't just like,
because I made the point that he doesn't do anything but sit on his hands and does nothing. And I stand by it because I think he only went out because he didn't want Ward to get tossed, and I wouldn't have had a problem with Ward getting tossed. Like, he wasn't out there on his own merit. He was there to protect Ward, which that
was an absolutely horrendous call. That wasn't even near the zone.
No, I agree, but I think him trying to play hero is a stupid thing, because I think part of it too is he knows how people perceive him and how he's seen as like kind of like a faux leader to a lot of people.
Can I tell you how much, by the way, this is maybe slightly a tangent, but how much it irks me when a manager goes out to argue with an umpire and the umpire just does the whole.
Well, they don't have anything to say because they know they're wrong.
I mean, didn't you say, I think he did say initially, that wasn't a ball?
No, his exact words were, if you read his lips, where he told Nevin that wasn't a ball, or that wasn't a ball, or something of that regard. Yeah. I think was like in a clip. It was literally like he said, no, that wasn't a ball. And it's like, see, and I said this before, these umpires, unlike the NBA and the NFL, have no one checking them. And there is a video, and I implore you to watch it. Jesse Winker got ejected last week for a time violation, and the pitching coach was out there. And he's like, hey, why did I shouldn't have gotten the strike there. The pitching coach was out there, and he's like, well, you couldn't have seen that. And he's like, what? He's like, well, you're looking this way. How could you have seen it? And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, that was his whole point. And then he strikes out, and he goes back and says like, hey, like, I don't understand this. And he's, not doing anything. He tosses it. He eventually tosses him, and then they have like an actual discussion. And it's like, that's the problem, is that these guys don't, with no checks, no bounces, no one there to say like, if a player asks you a question and your response isn't like it calmly, if they're like, hey, I don't understand this, so like I don't run into this problem again, and the official's response is one of, I'm not going to answer that, and then they toss and say, oh, well, now I answer it now that you're fine, I don't have to deal with you anymore, here's the rationale, that's a problem. And I'm
watching the video right now,
and it's the same couple of umpires, and it's just like, this needs to change. Like, you can't constantly be having this and think, like I said, as much as I disagree with John Boy a lot of times, the fact that his videos sort of show this inconsistency and these problems, like, the league knows what he does, for sure. And it's like, they have to at some point address it, whether it's with an audit or some sort of point system, more so than they have now, that this kind of thing doesn't continue. Like, there's no reason for Winker to be ejected. He's asking like something because he heard something, because he probably heard a time from behind him and assumed it was the pitching coach. And when Craig Counsell goes out and says the same thing, like, the pitching coach said there, well, he could, if the response to an umpire is he couldn't have seen it, like, I've had that happen to me, and it's like, that's not an argument. That's just you trying to like justify your bad decision. He's still intently watching this video, and I can't really like.
Sorry, I was trying to get like a hang of it, and it doesn't help that it's from Close Call Sports. And
just look at the Jump Boy video. It's on. I think it's on their YouTube.
They call the. Yeah, I was just watching it, and it's
entirety.
Yeah, no, I don't get it, because the pitcher's off the mound, the catcher's standing up.
That's the weird thing.
The ump is like,
no, see, because
you're gonna strike, and it's like, what are you doing?
No, that's the weird thing where it's like, it's almost like they don't want to break protocol, even though they have like the variance. It's almost like they don't want to like change up the thing where it's like, well, he has to be ready regardless, and then it's like. But if they're, like I said, if they hear time, because that's usually what happens, is they usually go, like, the pitching coach will walk out and say time, put his hand out, and then go. Is usually what happens. But if this, like I said, this trend continues and umpires aren't willing to just answer a simple question, you're gonna have a problem. And like I said, when you have situations like the Angels game on Thursday, where it's like it's clearly a ball, everyone's frustrated, and your response, and I know like we can't argue balls and strikes, but if your response to a guy saying that's low, it's clearly low, everyone knows it's low, and the video's out of it's low, and your response is no, that's not a ball, that's not you defending your call, that's you being terrible at your job.
Yeah.
And the only reason why you're terrible at your job is you know that no one's going to check you on it and call you out on it and tell you you're regulated because that how bad this call is.
I feel like there needs to be a leeway given to umps on saying don't necessarily eject people just because they ask you about a call.
They don't know any better.
There's a big difference. There is a big difference between what was that? And how dare you made the stupid call that was 5 feet.
No, there's a difference between like because I mean I've had these arguments where it's like where you ask like, well, what did that hit? And if they tell you like, oh, it hit the bottom, like it was the bottom of the zone on the outside, like you like they might not like it, but they'll be like, all right, fine, whatever. But like if the response to it is saying like if Ward were to look back and say like, no, that's way too low, and if his response in that situation isn't the response I said of like, no, it hit the corner, it wasn't low, it touched the corner, you can take that answer. But if the response was similar to what Nevin got of no, that was a no ball, that's something that's going to tick off every player and every manager, because that's not him defending a call. That's just him saying, no, I was right, you were wrong. That's the difference, is if you defend the call by saying, this is what happened, here's why I called it, most of the time, unless it's egregious, you'll get nods and they'll just be like, okay. But like I said, if your defense to a call, and I think this goes for any sport, is essentially, I was right, you were wrong, I can toss you and fine you, you have to bend to my authority. This is where these gripes come into play, and why you get comments after the game like, we need automatic strike zone or some sort of appeal system, because if they add this in the minor leagues, Ward touches his cap, ball 4, run scores, he's at first. Sure. Which is that's what would happen in the minor leagues, but they don't implement that up here because of egos, and they know that.
Yeah.
All right, segueing out. The Heat suck compared to the Nuggets, and I think we're in for a very short series. I think it's actually going to be 5 games, if not 4.
I agree. Not much argument here.
You're
I'm going to quote you. How is a loaf of bread so good at the game of basketball?
You want to know what's funny? I caught like the last 6 minutes of it, and I saw something, and I don't know if anyone else caught it, but they were trying with Bam what they did with Anthony Davis, where they sort of put him in a roving role. But the difference is Bam can't really do what Anthony Davis does, despite what Heat fans think. Anthony Davis is way more versatile on the defensive side than Bam Adebayo is. Yeah. Like, Bam can't really defend Jokic or cover the paint. And it looked like they put him in a rover role to defend him, like, because that kind of worked at the Lakers. But the Lakers still have length on the bench. I think Rory's like what, 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", right?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, he's fairly tall, so like they can kind of like they have the luxury to do that, where he can kind of like he can play like the 3-4 or the 5, and then defensively kind of cover whoever. The Heat don't have that. The Heat don't really have a lot of length to where, oh, Bam can just cover, guard the hole. And Bam's not that kind of defender.
Sure.
But it looked like they were trying to do that, and I'm like, you're gonna get eaten alive, because if you can't shut down Jokic or slow him down, you're gonna get swallowed.
Yeah.
I think, but that's interesting because they shut down Giannis, but I guess Giannis and Jokic aren't exactly comparable.
Well, and the problem is if you start guarding Jokic too closely with more players than one, Jokic picks you apart. Giannis isn't as good of a distributor as Jokic is, Weirdly enough,
is it really and like
it's really just if you start defending Jokic too hard on the offensive game, he picks you apart with his passing.
Is it like?
And
if
you start playing off of him to defend the passing, he'll just make whatever shot he wants.
I've had this conversation with CJ where it's almost like Aaron Gordon is a great fourth option, and I think that's really what you're seeing is when you have. Maybe this is sort of why, like, I kind of thought the Nuggets would win out, really, as much as I wanted the Lakers to win. And maybe I was just coping because of what I saw. But when you have options down the way, and there are quality options, I think that does a lot. Where it's like the Heat don't have it as much as like people want to praise the Heat. Really, at the end of the day, it's Jimmy Butler and Gabe Vincent for series.
There are two reasons, just as a quick side note, that I think it's the Heat or the Nuggets that are going to win the finals and not the Lakers right now. Other than just the simple fact that the Lakers got swept, obviously. But the reason, and I guess I didn't really break this down, but when we talked about the end of the Lakers Nuggets series, but I mean, give the Lakers. I don't think people give the Lakers enough credit. That was a 4-game series. Yes, they got swept, but it was 4 close games.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was the big.
It was
thing
not a sweep in the sense of like the Nuggets were coming out and going 12-point win. I think 13-point win, 17-point win.
I think it was
all less than 10 points, basically.
I think that was a point. Like I did hear when I was listening to the Dan Le Batard show. It was like, hey, the Lakers played them very close. And a lot, like one of them was
lost
like
every game.
It was just like they played them close, and it was like you could kind of hear from like the main host, like I don't know if the Heat can really do that. And but they're different. But the whole thing is they're different teams. I think the Heat are a very small team, just collectively. Which isn't a bad thing, but it's just like when you have a 7-footer who can shoot like that, like what are you gonna do? Like
sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just asking. Like, Bam can't be asked to guard that for.
No, and that's the thing. Game. I really think the Lakers hit 3 things. I said 2 originally, but 3. That was basically what tipped the scale in the favor of the Nuggets. Jamal Murray got so hot, and he's not going to be that hot all the time.
But
he
when
hasn't
he is,
been, but he was hot for 4 games, and like he had a great stretch. But like we didn't see him in game 1 of this series go off like crazy. My second point that I would make is LeBron was obviously not himself. He had injured himself, and he had played on it so much to the point where it was done. So he didn't have any explosiveness. He played fine, but he could have probably done just a little bit more. And then the third thing was a mistake on coaching that is absolutely the Lakers' fault.
What was that?
They needed to go inside. When the Lakers went inside and tried to get inside on their own, Jokic is a good defender, but he was not good enough to stop the driving. If the Lakers had stopped trying to match Jamal Murray's shooting and just packed the lane constantly.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
I see the Lakers having at least won a couple games. I'm not necessarily saying they would have won the series if they had made that adjustment, but I'm saying
maybe that was it.
I think if they had made that adjustment, they could have at least won games 1 and 3.
Yeah, maybe.
But again, I'm not, and even then, that might be wrong. That might be the worst assessment in the world. But I never felt like Jokic was like elite on the inside for defense.
Yeah.
When the Lakers tried to, they got it. But the problem was Anthony Davis doesn't like going inside for some reason, and he would just shoot these mid-range jumpers, and I'm sitting there going, "Go inside. You can get past. You can make some moves and get past Jokic." But yeah, Jokic and Murray were the reason that series was as short as it was.
No, I think you're going to see the same thing. I think they got hot at the right time.
Yeah, so. Jokic just was chucking up these wonky, crazy looking threes, and they were just going in. He'd throw these things up, and I'd just be like, "Oh, that's not going in," and I'd be like, "What the crap?" It was like, "Oh my gosh." So, anyways, but I mean, the Nuggets are the thing I said. I almost went off on one of those. I think it's a clip of soccer with the. I almost went off and did that. But
I'm sorry for everyone.
I said this. I said this. I think, in my kind of like conciliatory, like my concession tweet for the Lakers when they were about to have lost the fourth game, or no, when they did lose the fourth game. I said something to the effect of, "They are the team that's going to win the championship."
No,
the Nuggets just look like the champion.
Didn't I say like whoever wins the West is going to win? Will win the whole thing, like hands down.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't joking. Like when I meant that. Like no one's like the East wasn't going to do it. I knew that.
Yeah. So. I think the Celtics would have stood a better chance against.
I don't think
the Nuggets in terms of matchups. I think in terms of matchups, they would have stood a better chance, but I still think I would have gone the Nuggets all the way.
Think so
if this was
Tatum would have stolen a couple games, but I don't think.
That's what I'm saying. I think if this was a Boston-Denver series, I would have Denver in 6. But as it stands as a Denver Miami series, it's Denver in 5, and I wouldn't be completely shocked if it was Denver in 4.
No, it wouldn't shock.
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be shocked.
They're out. Like the Heat are outclassed, and it's not even close.
Butler can go off. The thing is that I think Denver will in every game they will constantly build a lead that Butler himself will have to overcome.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be able to do that 4 times.
No, I agree. So by this time next week, we'll probably be saying world champion Nuggets. I sent CJ a message saying like, so Nuggets series ends in 5, right? So I hope maybe he'll get back to me. I don't know. He's probably playing Diablo.
I was going to say, hopefully CJ
gets back to me.
We'll be wanting to come back on the stream and brag about how the world champion Nuggets are going to go back to back or something.
We'll see. They could, honestly. Anything else you want to bring up in this episode?
No, I think that's it.
Alrighty, so that'll put a bow on this episode of Coffee with Spects and Bryce. And so we'll see you guys all back here next Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. Kind of depends on scheduling. But one of these days, just know audio from here on out will always be uploaded Mondays at 10 a.m. on Spotify and wherever you get your podcast. And the video will usually be posted Monday or Tuesday. Just look out for my Twitter, and I'm sure Bryce will retweet it on his Twitter when the video's up. But hey, whether you listen on audio or video, hey, who knows? We enjoy making these episodes. We hope you enjoy listening. With a lot being said, I'm Specs, that's Bryce, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.
See you guys.